Hello, 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 you lovely people. God, my volume is on full. Them trumpets were very loud then. How are we? It's me, Calvin here from Kwak Talks. You are watching Kwak TV because why watch Crap TV where you can watch Kwak TV with me? Oh, honestly, what a fabulous day today. And top of the morning to you. It's St. Patrick's Day. Am I allowed to do that? Well, I did it anyway. There we go. That's what I'll go with. So, yes, hope we are well. And if you are watching live, please do jump into the comments. And if you are jumping on replay, please put hashtag replay. And remember, you can catch this on my Facebook page, on my Facebook group, The Duck Pond. You can also catch this replay and all of my other videos on YouTube as well. Every single interview that I've done. And you also get some sneak peeks on LinkedIn. So just find me everywhere, really. That's the answer to it, isn't it? How are we? Hope we are doing well. I'm doing fabulous. Sorry we didn't come on the show yesterday. I will do the disclaimer. It was just one of them days where the show wasn't right to be done. I had quite a lot on and it just didn't fit in with my schedule. So it is lovely to be back today with a fabulous guest who I will be bringing on very shortly. It's Mr. Ernie Boxall, and we had a couple of tech issues last week. Hopefully they're fine this week. We have figured out that apparently StreamYard doesn't think is pretty enough to have a camera, but we can still hear him perfectly. So hopefully we'll be able to bring him on very, very shortly. So yes, it is St. Patrick's Day. And I hope you are all living for it just as much as I am. I love St. Paddy's Day. I don't know if it was just my dad bringing me up with St. Paddy's Day. And, you know, he just educated me on it quite a bit and how important it is. It's a very important day. So yes, as we know every morning on Kwak TV, I go through an array of different things such as days of the year, Twitter hashtags, and everything else. But what I'm going to do is right now, just so we can get a couple of extra people on this, I'm going to share it. I hate it when I do this because this is where I feel really awkward, where I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Da, da, da. So bear with me, people. I am really trying to multitask, and I am not good at this. There we go. Oh, that one. There we go. That got that over and done with, didn't it? It's you know, where you just kind of like so yes, it is St. Paddy's Day, and like I said, it's Kwak TV time. I lost my train of thought then, can you tell? So yes, days of the year. So today your days of the years are as follows. So the website Lovely Days of the Year celebrates different days of the year, but it could be anything. Did I say days of the year enough then? I think I did. So today is obviously St. Patrick's Day. So make sure you celebrate that far and wide. It is also Universal Women's Week. So make sure that was from Sunday, March the 14th up until March the 20th. So make sure you celebrate Universal Women's Week. It's also Sleep Awareness Week, which is funny because I got a crap night's sleep. Oh my God, it's loads of weeks this week. It's also Groundwater Awareness Week. Don't know what that is. And it's also Introverts Week. There we go. So it's Introverts Week, Groundwater Awareness Week, Sleep Awareness Week, Universal Women's Week. But it is St. Patrick's Day. There we go. And then on Twitter, your hashtags are as follows. It is today your hashtags trending is obviously St. Patrick's Day. Also trending alongside Guinness / Paddy. So yes, hashtag St. Patrick's Day, hashtag Guinness, hashtag Paddy. And it is also hashtag Wednesday Thought. Also hashtag FFB Wednesday, which stands for Follow Back Wednesday. It's also hashtag Wednesday Motivation. And anything else? Hashtag Wednesday Thoughts. So we've got hashtag Wednesday Thoughts, hashtag Wednesday Motivation, hashtag Wednesday FFB Wednesday. Remember, that stands for Follow Back Wednesday. So hopefully using that hashtag, you will get people that will follow you back. So today's guest, who I'm hopefully about to bring on with no tech issues, because it's saying he's not there right now, meaning that I think, he's back now. I can see him, so we're bringing him on in a moment, is the lovely one and only Mr. Ernie Boxall, who... You know, it makes me laugh. Every time I get people to come on the show, I get them to fill in a form. And, you know, it's like, what are we going to be talking about on the show? And I don't look at it until the day. And it goes, birds tweet, people talk. And then it goes, is there anything else you'd like to put? And he puts the old twat who still hasn't picked up the idea of Twitter. Word for word. So with no further ado, good morning, Mr. Ernie Boxall.
Good morning, Callum. Good morning, people. And apparently I'm the old twat who still hasn't picked up StreamYard.
It's all right. It doesn't matter. You hear that? We can hear you. Yeah. You know, it's absolutely fine. I'd rather you be here at least in one way or another, even if we can't see your glorious face. But like you said, StreamYard loves great lighting, and apparently you want great lighting. So
well, that's what it tells me anyway.
Love it, love it. Ernie, so just in case people don't know who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
I am a storyteller, Callum. Now, I was just a storyteller, fiction, non-fiction, tales from the past, tales from the future. But I have transitioned a little bit into a business storyteller because I know through 4N, and you know, that some of the best foresights are when people tell their story. You know, they can tell us all about their business, but the fact that maybe their parents split up when they were 14 or earlier, maybe they had a traumatic event happen to them in their teens, but they've come through it and they've become successful. People suddenly start to say, wow, I'm really interested in what that person's gone through. I'll ask them for a one-to-one.
Yeah.
And so you're not having to change it. You're not having to chase anybody. They're coming to you and saying, actually, that happened to me. Can we have a one-to-one? And I think that's the power of the story.
It is. And you're completely right, because there's one thing I've always said with public speaking. Obviously, I do public speaking, and obviously you do. And it's the reason, in my personal opinion, a story sells is because we've always been told stories throughout the whole of our life. Yeah. Either it be, fiction, non-fiction, pretty much nearly all of our communication, in my personal opinion, is stories. Yes. Oh, this happened today. This happened yesterday. Oh, I've got this going on tomorrow. It's a story. That's what we're permanently telling people. But you've got to make sure that story comes across correctly so people can engage with it. And obviously, that's where someone like you comes in, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's two things, Callum, that come up straight away. First of all, how did you introduce this program? You started to talk about Paddy's Day.
Yeah.
And so people perhaps don't even know the story of St. Patrick, but they certainly know St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
There's the introduction to a foresight. There's the introduction to a story.
Yep.
You also said that people have got to think about what happened to them. And very often people say, well, nothing's happened to me today. And I always say to them, put one word behind that. Nothing's happened to me today except that I've been on an introduction with Callum. My camera doesn't work, but it's okay because we're doing it through audio. And as we go on through the audio presentation, it might be, there's my story straight away. We've all got a story every day we wake up.
Yeah.
And it's just remembering that story and learning how to tell it well.
So completely right. Like you're saying, a lot of people, if we keep basing it on like business networking or business seminars and things like that, someone will talk about their business.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in, and I tell clients this, and I tell a lot of business friends this, because they, do go to me, what's your style on talking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I tell them about me because I've learned, and it's quite obvious, people buy from people.
Yes.
Sorry, you might be an accountant, you might be a lawyer, you might be a charity, and it's okay telling us about the business, but I don't want to possibly give my money to the business. People buy from people. I want give my money to an individual, even if they represent that business, because that's who I've invested my time in to get to know, watching a story or presentation that they are doing. So yeah, it's so important understanding that telling me about your business is okay, but actually telling me a story about you and possibly that business is so much more.
Well, what I'd say, Callum, and perhaps I could do it with you.
Yeah.
What's your biggest success so far, Callum?
I love that question. My biggest success so far, I'll tell you what, is someone that, messaged me on LinkedIn. Turned out it was a student. I'd helped out at a university on an entrepreneur course. They found me on LinkedIn. I just spoke on this course about what I'd done, how I'd done it, starting in business, answering any questions they've got. Because people on this entrepreneurialism course were wanting to learn a bit more about starting their own business, the ins and outs, and actually the simplicity of a lot of it. because they're at university, they think it's going to be complex, when actually it can be quite simple. And this person found me on LinkedIn. He went, "Oh, I just wanted to connect with you. You spoke at my university course a couple of years ago, and I've now got a business. And I would like to say that, you know, a big portion of that is actually from listening to you." And I've always said, when it came to motivational speaking, when people ask me why did I want to do it, and, you know, being a coach and mentor, is I said at some point, whether it be in a month, a year, 10 years, or in 60 years' time, if someone could come up to me and go, "I've done this because of you, I have done my job, I can die happy." And that for me was success.
And that's great. See, you talked there about motivational speaking, and there's a little bit of a debate, isn't it, about the difference between motivation and inspiration. Now, I would say you didn't motivate that chap to go into business, you inspired him. He motivated himself after listening to you. You're an inspirational speaker, more than a motivational one. The motivation comes from the guy you've inspired.
Thanks. Yeah.
But you must have, at the university, Callum, you must have told your story.
I do. I do. And it is my main story that I tell. It's my story. And, you know, I haven't come from wealth. I haven't come from, you know, an easy upbringing. My mum worked hard to make sure we had everything we had in our life. My dad did. So, you know, for me, a lot of it, when people resonate with that, and, you know, in particular this person, because I got chatting to them a little bit more, they fought to get to university. You know, they came from similar, if not, you know, I don't want to use the word worse, but not as advantaged possibly even as myself. And, you know, and they fought to get to university, and they got there, and they was making every day bloody count.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And you seem to be doing the same. I mean, I've seen how you've expanded everything. I mean, universal now. Cross, you're everywhere, Callum. But and it's not easy, is it? You're not starting these businesses just on the spur of the moment. There must be a lot of work goes into them.
Yeah, and do you know what I actually had a guy yesterday message me on LinkedIn. I messaged him first because I noticed he engaged with a lot of my posts. I was like, "Oh, I noticed you engage with a lot of my posts. I don't think we've met. You know, it'd be nice to actually have a good old chat." It does work doing that on LinkedIn, by the way, people. Just pointing that out.
That was the point I was going to make.
Yeah, and it does work. And he just went, "Oh, I'm a personal branding photographer, and one of the things actually why I follow you quite hardcore is you are so on brand in everything you do."
Yes,
it's unreal. You know, you are a branding specialist's dream. So I take it he means either graphic design, branding photography, branding coach, because you can get personal branding coaches. You are the dream because you just incorporate and exuberate everything that you do. And I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's a real big compliment." And he's like, "No, you do." And I was like,
"But you do it naturally." That's the point, Callum.
I don't know. I just buy loads of things with ducks on it.
You do it. No, but I mean, everything you do is quintessentially Callum.
But it all tells a story, doesn't it, Ernie? It all tells a story about me, what I've been doing, where I've got to now, and it all helps tell that story, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, personally, myself, I have found that being at home, not being able to go out, networking, has had real benefits. I've started talking on camera when the camera works, but I've started looking worldwide. And I've connected with worldwide storytellers. But just recently, I was advised to look at something called OMG Show in America. And it's a networking group throughout the whole states. And they have this thing where you go in for an hour and they have 2 or 3 breakout rooms for 20 minutes. And that's it. They say, "You've had your breakout rooms. Thanks very much. Typical American. We're off to work again." 1 hour. But I was interviewed by one of their show hosts and it went well. And now I'm being asked to appear at other LinkedIn groups in the same section. So just by being on camera and by being able to speak naturally and well, you can take your business worldwide.
Yeah, you can. Sam, oh, Ernie, 1 second. We've got a good morning. Good morning, Mr. Robley. Hope you are well, my lovely. And yes, we know that Ernie has no face. We can hear him fabulous, but StreamYard doesn't like how he looks this morning, so it's chosen not to let him put his camera on. But good morning to you, Mr. Robert Lee. But yeah, and Ernie, you are completely right. For example, I've actually had a client of mine the other day say, I'm on this like website, talk to a few different people, a bit like a forum, and someone saying that they could do a bit of help in the business. And I went, right. She went, would you say you're an international coach? And I went, well, I'll be really honest, as long as they can, speak English, because I don't want to be able to have the language barrier struggle, because I can barely speak English myself. And they went, oh yeah, they're from America, they're from Texas.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, as long as it's not possibly regarding funding or anything like that, because I won't be educated on it. If they just need, if they're not needing really a mentor side to an extent, they need it on the coaching side, absolutely. And they went, yeah. So they've put me in touch with this person and we're talking. So technically, like you're saying, be able to speak all over the world. Soon I might be able to even call myself an international coach, which is insane.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can already call myself an international speaker then, 'cause I've been on 3 or 4 American podcasts.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
And that a lot of people say, to be an international speaker, you should have travelled to at least 2 international shows. We can't do that anymore.
Yeah. I'm an international speaker when there's a global pandemic. That's what I am. Yeah. But Ernie, so what would you say if people want ease with telling their story, or maybe they're not sure on what is classed as telling their story? What would you say, possibly either the way to analyze it or realize what they're talking about or the impact they want to have on people? What would you say to them?
I'd say start either a written or just a minute.
It's all right. There's live show, people. There's no studio edits here. It's a live show.
From Tunbridge Wells. No, it would be to either journal or to speak into the camera. I do 4 o'clock Sunday story every Sunday. I go on and I talk about my week. Either do a daily or a weekly journal and then go on and do it.
It's like a weekly roundup, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I remember one person in particular, Nicole, and she started doing. She got involved in this challenge where she had to do like 5 minutes over 5 days.
Yes.
And she did it. And I messaged her after I think the first 2, and I went, "Do you know what?" I said, "I really like these. I hope you don't stop it after 5 days."
Right.
And oh, why do you like them? I went, "Do you know what? I don't know.
No.
But I just enjoy them." I said, "It's just you talking to the camera for 5 minutes. She's very pure. There's not." All she's doing is talking about her day and the normality of it. That's all she's really talking about. And I love it. I was like, yeah, please keep doing them. I absolutely love it. And I believe that she's carried on doing them. She doesn't do them as regular, but she still does them. And
yeah, so long as you're consistent, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned that. I started a podcast about just over a year ago, more than that probably. And I did 4. I didn't like them. So I stopped doing them. Shouldn't have done. They'll get better.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at them at the time.
It's like me. I do podcasts.
Yeah.
I've got 2 episodes out. I'm about to release my 3rd episode. And they're only about 10 minutes long at the minute.
Right.
A couple of people have gone, oh, there should be at least like 20 to 30 minutes. I'm like, why should they? I've only just started it. I tell you what, 10 minutes is better than 9. It's not as good as 11.
Well, I tell you what, Alan, as well, if I see a podcast that's 90 minutes long, I'm not sure when I've got 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this is what mine was. My thought was 10 minutes, you can stick your headphones in whilst you're cooking or boiling the kettle or whatever and listen to that 10-minute podcast.
Yeah.
And for me, it's 10 minutes of normality, reality, and a bit of regrounding for people in business. That's why I did mine. It was just pure 10 minutes of rawness, no bullshit. And everyone that's listened to it has given great feedback. So
There you go.
you know, and it's kind of like you're saying, consistency. I know you stopped and you've learned from that, but
Yeah.
it's consistency, and you don't know where it's going to pay off in the long run.
No. As I say, for me, it's probably taken me across to America on the airwaves, and who knows where that can lead to. But again, it's just all part of my daily story. I keep a little journal of what's happened in the day, and I come back to that, putting the word accept.
There's my journal.
Yeah.
There's my journal, people. I have a journal as well. Yeah.
Nothing's happened to me today except, and then I just write down
what's
happened. I went to walk into a park the other day, and I was just standing, waiting around. A squirrel popped its head round the bottom of the tree, and I looked at it, and it scattered away. And then a little further up the tree, it popped half its body round.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and it went away, and then it went on to another branch level with my head, and it just looked at me. And that moment, that time, when me and the squirrel were looking each other in the eyes, it's precious. Why not talk about it?
Yeah, completely right.
People ignore little things like that.
Yeah, completely right, Ernie. And do you know what? I think that is actually a really lovely note to finish the show on.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. So, you know, it's to anyone that hopefully will be watching this on, you know, on YouTube, and then Ernie, this is on YouTube for you to send people to as well.
Right.
Everyone's got a story to tell, haven't they, Ernie?
Yes. Everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah. So long as you can wake up in the morning, you've got a story to tell.
Love it. And if you are able to wake up, hopefully someone else is telling it for you.
That's it.
There we go. Ernie, lovely having you on the show. I'm going to kick you backstage. Don't rush off anywhere, and I'll have a quick natter with you afterwards. How does that sound?
Real pleasure, Callum. Real
love it.
pleasure.
I'll speak to you shortly. Bye. Oh, I love that, man. I know I say this after every guest, because obviously if I didn't like the guest, I wouldn't bloody have them on the show, would I? So yes, what a lovely show today with the one and only Mr. Ernie Boxall. He has got a fabulous face. So yes, make sure that you tune in tomorrow as well with the one and only Mr. Martin Byrne. Rock and roll to insurance. Tomorrow is definitely going to be a lively show. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. And remember, why watch Kwak TV where you can watch Kwak TV with me, Callum McKay. And in the words of my nana, if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.